Hey everybody, it's Guy here with Total Geek Live. With me, as always, is B, Kaiser, and Danny.
Ah,
Everyone's waving.
I was waving
Yeah, we
when you
waving.
were introducing B, and I'm like, oh wait, that's not me. Then I stopped, and then he said my name. I was like, oh hi, yeah, that's me.
New John.
Oh, new
Classic
John.
John. So we're in a discussion as well outside of Cana Geek whether or not this is a John from an alternate universe or not. It's kind of like the Berenstein Bears Mandela effect. So we haven't decided about him because he remembers some things differently than we do.
Okay, so I have
Although
been
he's not the only
told.
one.
I have just learned that the Navarro Mall came way before, about 10 years before, the College Park Mall. Where
Yes.
I swear I remember when hearing them building the Navarro Mall and wondering why do we need another mall when we
I
already
don't
had
read the
College
history books,
Park
New
Mall.
John. This is just how it is.
Right.
I have to say, I do think that Kai's has a point because I kind of remember sort of the same thing. I don't remember. I remember Navarre Mall around the same time that I remember College Park Mall.
Well, they did exist simultaneously at
I
one
don't know that, but I mean, like, I don't remember Navarre Mall being a thing until after College Park Mall was a thing.
Right.
That's where I'm coming from too. So I'm like,
Well,
So you're saying you're from another timeline also?
no, I just have merged memories.
Oh, okay.
It's from
he's like a day walker. He walks between the boundaries of shadow and light.
I
Oh,
do.
oh,
I slip between the raindrops.
okay.
So anyway, the memories are horribly fuzzy on this beginning part.
right because I remember there. I mean, distinctly remember Navarro Mall. I remember going to a costume contest there, and I was like 5th grade. I was dressed like a samurai, and standing in line for a haunted house they'd had there, and then ripping my pants, and then wanting to go home.
That's a theme with you, isn't it?
Classic New John.
Oh, new John. Always ripping your pants somehow, somewhere.
And it was all around that time.
Are you
frame.
always a samurai when you do it?
No.
This is getting like a Saturday Night Live skit. So anyway, the dates in question that everyone seems to be confused about or in question. Navarro Mall opened up in 1972. It was about 150,000 square foot mall. Whereas College Park Mall, from everything I've read, it opened up in 1983, and it was a 213,000 mall square foot. So
That's a whole lot of malls.
now I distinctly remember going to Navarro Mall when I was younger. Again, we were all a lot younger, and in some cases, some of us weren't even really here during those heydays. So, again, this is piecing together largely from my memories, but of course, anyone can contribute on just getting information out there. And of course, comments, anything we get wrong or anything you want to add in addition to the extensive research we did via Facebook. Thank you to everyone who did participate with that. This is the best list that we can piece together from both malls. So Navarro Mall had Woolworths as one of the main anchor stores. They actually had two versions of Woolworths. They had one where the present modern-day Brookshire's is, as well as on the other side.
So there was two.
There was two.
They
Okay.
had two stores at the same time?
No,
Not
I
at
think
the
they
same
moved.
time.
Oh, okay.
And the other one was by Jewel T, Texas T.
That's the one that I remember.
Two different stories.
That's the one that I remember.
Yeah.
I
Because
remember it being over. Because it was kind of like if you walked to it, wasn't that one on the left-hand side?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like on the polar opposite, like each one when they were open during their time.
Right,
I also remember those Woolworths primarily as where I think the one that was over by the Jewel T Texas T was the last version of it, and the one that was over where Brookshire's is today is the one that was the original one.
Okay.
Where I'm from, none of those stores existed in that mall. I'm sorry.
Why, you
I
don't?
have no memory of those stores existing there. I remember the fountain.
Only on the one side.
Oh, New John.
I'm gonna be so glad when we get to the 80s. But I remember that mall mostly, Navarro Mall, because of Woolworths. My mom used to buy hamsters there for me all the time. And that was like the big thing.
Hamsters plural?
Hamsters plural. That's an interesting story I may as well share. So I had this little blonde hamster named Michael. And 80s, it was named after Michael Jackson because that's kind of how I rolled.
You know, hamster, sure.
You know,
But
he had
not
blonde
good.
hair. It kind of made sense, right?
That was in the later years. But anyway, it's like Michael, I thought I had this hamster for years. And as my mother and sister more gleefully recounted these stories to me, I didn't have Michael very long. Michael was actually a series of Michaels. And now in retrospect, it makes sense because I get up and I was like 7 or 8 or 9. And like, I'd wake up and Michael would be on death's door. Michael would just, and of course I'm like traumatized because poor Michael is just not well. And so I'd be at school all day just miserable because Michael's not doing well. And I come back and he'd be fine. And
Only a lot smaller, huh?
he'd be smaller. But it was always a male little blonde hamster. And I found out years later that my mother would like talk to management at Woolworths and she'd actually have them special order these hamsters in regular supply because these things just died all the time. I must have had like at least 13 Michaels over the course of like 3 to 4 years.
Oh my God.
And well, you know, I got to give props to Mom because, I mean, if that's not love, trying to get me out of, like, dealing with...
Grabbing a little hamster and, like, shoving them in the vehicles and stuff and, like, taking on little hamster adventures.
Yeah, I mean, what on earth were you doing to these poor little Michaels?
I don't know. I mean, I never did anything bad. It was just...
You just never fed them and watered them?
No, I fed them. I gave them a little... You know, I'd let them run around the house and like, you know, sometimes I'd put them in Castle Grayskull and things like that, but I never did anything.
Sometimes they'd fall through the trap door.
Yeah, they fall through the trap door. That's trauma. You traumatized these poor little
That
guys.
may have happened. I can neither confirm or deny that.
You neither confirm nor deny whether you took the little chair and went whoop.
Could have happened.
That's what I remember.
Mhm.
You know, to be honest, though, it was probably this guy that did it. So,
Who?
really, Skeletor probably killed Michael. So I'm just saying. But you know, outside of that, you know, because my sister had hamsters as well, and like the one that she got was pregnant, so we had like 9 hamsters at one point that got out and got all over the place. So that was an interesting time because I mean literally you'd see like shadows of hamsters in corners over at our original house, and still my mother kept buying those Michaels.
I remember Navarro Mall mainly because of the fountain that was in the middle.
Yeah, that's all
Yeah.
I remember.
That was always fun. And I remember specifically we had a Cub Scouts. I don't think I was in Boy Scouts, but Cub Scouts where you had to like build the model car, and we had big races.
Yeah, the Pinewood Derby.
Yeah, and I lost so bad. I don't think
I
mine
did too.
actually made it down the whole thing. I was not very good at that.
I was traumatized because I lost. That's like that wasn't supposed to work. I spent so much time on the thing.
Oh, I didn't spend any time on it, and I was not surprised I lost. But I was.
So they'd have the track set up there right by the fountain?
I don't know what it was close to the fountain area, but
Right.
you know, on like a Saturday morning or something. And that's one of the big things I remember. Besides going to Woolworths, and you know, I don't know if I'm making it up, but I feel like they had some sort of like counter service, like a diner type of thing in there. Do you remember that guy?
I'm trying to remember because I know like the old Kmart across the street had like a diner sort of thing. I remember Woolworth had hamsters. It also had like a Buster Brown shoe section. And then the only thing I think I ever retained from that is I still have a movie adaptation of Return of the Jedi, like the comics from Marvel. I still have those from back in the day. Those survived. As I said, it was just a standard department store like your Walmart, Target today. Toys, video games, things like that.
So
Navarro
where
Mall.
was this at? In like where the Brookshires is now?
Yes.
No. Is
Well,
it-
that was
Originally, and then it was over by where Texas Tea was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Take your
yeah,
word for it.
you had to be there, New John.
Toyland. What's
You had to
this
be in this
Toyland?
timeline.
Yeah, this is the timeline I'm from, the Bernstein universe. And I remember there was a toy store there called Toyland.
I feel like that was kind of like more wooden toys and kind of crafty toys.
I was gonna say
They had
was it like wooden
do they have
blocks, like
model
alphabets?
trains and things like that?
That's what I
They
kind of
did.
feel like.
Like a
They
Santa
did, but I
workshop.
remember getting ColecoVision games there too. So they had video games. Of course, everybody had video
Yeah,
games, and I think
wood.
they were the go-to spot for Cabbage Patch Kids at the time.
Oh.
And one of the comments I got from our friend Brandy said that she got My Little Ponies there. So obviously it had normal. Normal. Sorry. Yeah, sorry for more traditional toys, but the more standard toys of the 80s at that time. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But as I said, a lot of the memories from Navarro Mall, a little bit fuzzy. We were all a little bit younger and trying to think what else was there. Of course, there was the fountain. I did take a picture of it the last time I was in Corsicana. There's not a lot going on in that mall at this time,
But you
unfortunately.
can still get in.
Yeah, well, when they were renovating the courthouse recently, they moved all the courthouse. I mean, everything happened there
well-
in the mall. I mean, we had to go see the judge. You went to the mall.
Yeah.
They had
So it was
the
kind
metal
of
detectors
temporary
up.
housing
I'm
for
going-
their
Yeah,
office.
it was temporary office.
Yeah, so that was like because it's no longer a mall, it's a center now. So that's the big thing. But it had a Bells because, Corsicana has always had Bells forever. It had a shoe store called Bernal's. And of course, Jewel Tea, which later became Texas Tea.
Yep. And that's what I remember. Texas Tea being
Yeah.
the you'd walk in and there was you couldn't bag anything up or whatever. You'd have to take boxes of the products and find an empty box and then put all your stuff in.
Oh, yes.
that
Yeah, I
and
remember
take it
that.
out. It's very much like how the Aldi stores that are coming in from Germany, how they kind of function now. But
I have to
and
say,
then-
I hated going to the Texas Tea because I would be the one that had to find the boxes and carry them because my sister wouldn't do any of it. So I always hated on the Saturday mornings when that was the grocery store we were going to.
Right.
Like, ah!
And then you had the can of beans or whatever that was just completely white with
It was like
black.
military grade beans.
Yep, it was just the most generic of generic.
It was literally no label beans or
No.
I think it had cheese, and it was just like you
But that's
said,
all it was in black letters. Cheese.
white label and black stencil labels,
Yep.
letters, and yeah, you just have to take your word on it that what it said on the front, it could have been a can full of Stables or bees or something, for all we know.
Yep.
So is Texas Tea still a thing in Texas at all anymore?
I don't know.
Oh.
Not that I have ever. I mean, I haven't come across one since Corsicana.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
'cause it was a
Well,
great name. I mean, Texas Tea. It's like, I
Yep.
pity the fool, y'all.
That's right. And wasn't it white with orange? Their logo.
Didn't they have a diamond?
I think there might have been a diamond in there somewhere.
Well, that's
I
when it
remember
was
it being
Jewel
orange.
Tea, probably. It was a diamond
So-
when it was Jewel Tea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. And then of course, Jewel Tea, Texas Tea left as well because obviously Brookshire's came in, and it was a little bit hard to compete with that.
Right.
So Jewel Tea go in where Woolworth was? Is that what happened?
That's
Yeah,
where
when
the
what-
memory is funny because I have a feeling like Woolworths and Jewel Texas Tea existed simultaneously. Like it was right next door too. And if that's my memory, I think that's correct.
Okay.
So.
So then, where in that area? Where did Midway eventually move their offices to? Because they were officed in there.
we moved to the
point.
T.
Oh, so where Texas Tea was?
Yeah.
Once they moved out, you guys moved in.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when we moved out, Northrop Grumman moved in.
Who's that?
Mr. Drummond?
Yes, Mr. Drummond. No, Northrop Grumman. I might be saying that correctly. It's like a military contractor or something like that.
Okay.
So from video games to military contracts,
Yes.
from previously military beans and cheese. So right there somewhere. I'm so
Kind
glad.
of works in there. Everything was
And then
meant
the
to
local
be.
government came in for a bit, and then now I think it's open again.
Really? Okay.
So it's
Yeah,
an empty space waiting to be some new tenant to come in.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting fact, Midway Home Entertainment moved into the post-Jewel Texas Tea area. So was its final iteration before they closed that particular office.
Well, it survived a small handful, survived on a raft and moved somewhere, I think on Mall Drive. They had a small office.
Really?
Yeah, after the closing. Because I remember seeing the Midway on one of those smaller offices.
Okay.
So I'm not sure who made that transition over, but
I don't know. I was trying to think.
But yeah, there was like a life raft that floated across the street down Mall Drive and took anchor there on in one of those little shops for a bit.
So was it raining heavily that day, or was it actual
Yeah,
load?
they took a raft.
Did they get it from the military place that moved in after?
They survived on their can of beans and cheese.
I mean, you're painting a picture here, man. I'm just going with what you're saying.
Oh, no, John. Good stories.
Did the second
John.
flood not happen in this reality?
I'm not quite sure, man.
So, Navarro Mall, done. But I feel like I remember, like, the mall manager or someone who ran it.
Ran you off?
I was friends with her son. I feel like his name was, like, Sean or something, or can't remember his last name. But I remember running around the mall, Navarro Mall, for a couple of, a couple Saturdays or whatever, while his mother was working, and we would just, like, run the mall or whatever. That was kind of small. It was a small mall, Didn't have much going on, but...
No, I do remember College Park Mall quite vividly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I close my eyes right now and I remember if you were going from Walmart through the doors, there's a clothing store here, Claire's?
Yeah, I
Cato.
think it was Claire's or Cato or something, and then
Cato.
GNC.
Yeah, because I remember
Yeah,
Cato's was there, and
GNC.
GNC was like right there.
And
I
then
know.
KB.
Yeah, because like KB or Circus World, as it was known originally, was like right there across from Aladdin's castle. So I mean, for a kid, that was awesome because it's like on one hand you have Toy Store, on one hand you have arcades. So that couldn't have been any better, I think.
Oh, I think they strategically placed those stores within eyeshot of each other.
Oh, sure.
That's called marketing. And they had
Synergy.
United. Do you remember that one at all?
Which one?
United. It was like another department store. It was a pretty big store, and I remember it had ramps in it. And I remember, I'm pretty certain they sold toys in there, but then again, it could have been like Circus World or Walmart where I got that memory from. I know they opened it again briefly for like there was like an art project that went on there in the mid '90s.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to picture where in a mall you were talking. I remember the art project, which is a whole story unto itself that ended badly for a lot of people. But was it called United? I guess, yeah. United.
It was
sounds
originally
familiar.
United.
Not at all.
I do now.
It
now
was
that
a
you.
flash in the pan. Yeah. I can't seem to find any information on it. So whatever happened to that chain, they pretty much ended.
I
Of
remember the
course,
secret hallway that you could go outside that you weren't ever supposed to go in, but my friends and I always went through because.
The one right by Walmart.
Yeah, there was like that
yeah.
hallway between them that has like the emergency doors.
Yep.
Just big, empty, scary because there's no lights on in there usually.
Because rules didn't apply to you, did it, New John?
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, and when you
Just
when
too
you
cool.
I lived right across the street from the mall in the villa for years.
Yeah.
So we'd run across the highway as children often do and go run around in the mall and go to run around in places in the mall you're not supposed to be. I mean, that's what you did, right?
You did a lot of running back then.
I did. Not so much now.
You're like the Forrest Gump of mall walkers.
Run,
I was
Ed.
one
You
day.
just keep lapping them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All the mall walkers like, why? He's so fast.
Maybe he actually started the mall walking trend.
Might have been.
He was a true pioneer of this one.
Yeah. They were trying to catch up to him.
Yep. Never could catch
I
me.
remember.
Oh shit! Oh crap! Oh, sorry.
Spill your beans.
No, my toe hit the power cord to one of my monitors, and it went black.
You're typing with your feet?
No, my feet are under the desk
Classic
where
Newton.
my power strip
see,
is.
in this timeline, this is how we type.
Oh, this is how we type?
Yes.
You guys
Yeah,
are so weird.
It's not Tekken, John. But
Neck bone.
So,
Yeah, B was gonna say something.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah, sorry.
we'll just and so I remember going to Circus World, and when you're kids, you kind of, I don't know how old I was. It was obviously after it opened. It was probably like 83, 84. But I was going to be going into third grade, and Mrs. Lockwood was the manager at Circus World.
Really?
And yeah,
Really?
and she we were in there for some reason, my mother and myself, and they ended up talking, and we found out that she was certified to teach. And so my mother somehow got her into an interview for the third grade teaching position, and she ended up being my third grade teacher. So it was kind of a strange little like side story that, the Lockwoods came from upstate New York, and Mr. Lockwood worked at Guardian, and that's where they came down to Corsicana, and she ended up working at Circus World.
Yeah, it's much bigger than Circus Land.
Yeah.
This entire world.
And then she ended up going to the Catholic school and teaching, and she taught there for like almost 30 years, I think.
Wow.
Oh.
All just because of a chance meeting with your mom.
Oh, because
so
you were whining, you had to have that damn toy.
I want that X-Men toy right now.
I need Man-at-Arms.
Yeah.
Neck and neck. I need them now.
Yeah.
Buzz off.
Well, my fondest memory of College Park Mall is as you're walking into the main entrance, and on the right-hand side was the great temple that is known as Corn Dog 7.
Yes.
Home of fresh lemonade and the cheese on a stick.
Can we have a moment of silence, honestly, for Corn Dog 7? I mean, just...
Oh, we can, man.
Yeah.
We can.
Went out.
And pour a little bit out for you, homie.
I
know. I wish they would make a huge comeback, because every mall needs one.
And it was right there when you walked in the mall too, like it was in the main center.
Right there. I loved just ordering 2 cheese on a stick and a lemonade, and then they had the booth that kind of went voomp
Yeah,
like that. It was all
yeah.
one piece.
Mhm.
And just kind of lay back into the booth, and the mirror would be behind us.
Oh yeah.
And you had perfect. You could just walk in. You could just sit there and see everybody who walked into the mall.
Oh yeah.
You'd see the entire traffic. And,
And
oh, hey, you can catch up with somebody.
How
We
do you
always
eat?
ran into somebody.
How do you
who
eat the
did
cheese
that.
on the stick, Danny?
Cheese on a stick. The proper way to eat it is okay. So you're given the cheese and it's on a stick. Pull the stick
Yep.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Poke the holes in it to kind of
Yep.
make it in half, and then you pull it apart in half, and then you eat one piece, one half of it, and then you eat the other half of it.
There we go.
That's it. That's
I
it.
just drowned
Easy
it in
peasy.
ketchup and ate just
Yeah,
one
see,
time.
some people would do ketchup, some people would do mustard, because there were the ketchup and mustard bottles right there at every little table or booth or whatever it was.
Well, the mustard for the corn dog, the cheese, the ketchup. Was great
Some
for
people
cheese.
did mustard with the
the
cheese,
cheese?
though. Yes.
No.
Yep, some people
Eric
did, but
People
I
are
was
so
a
weird.
purist, and I wanted to just consume the cheese blended with the corn dog batter, and that combination. It was just that
Impure.
was it. I did not need anything extra.
Yep.
I'm a vanilla cheese on the stick kind of guy.
Put vanilla
Did you ever
on your
dip
cheese
in
on
your lemonade?
No, I didn't put vanilla. I put vanilla in the lemonade.
Ever dipped in your lemonade? Why not?
That could be interesting, actually.
Probably not
Get a
very good.
zesty tang to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, of course, the other great spot there was Walden Books.
Yep.
And to date, Corsicana has never really had a bookstore on that level that I've ever seen.
Right.
Because I remember going in there, and of course, I'd go get like Game Pro and Electronic Gaming Monthly and get all those game magazines to get whatever tips for Nintendo at that time, or I'd read all the comic books. Most of the time, the people there were generally cool about me kind of browsing through to see whatever Spider-Man was doing. I had one or two little crabby people ask if I was going to pay for that, and usually I did. Although I think one time I didn't, because I was like, well, I was going to buy this, but not now. I think I said that too. Thank God I got out of my smart mouth as I got older.
No, sorry.
And I remember in the back though, they had like all the Dungeons and Dragons books as
Oh, I
well.
remember those.
Yes. Yep.
And yeah, like all the young adult novels. I mean, you could get like your Star Wars, Star Trek novels. And I remember, do you remember those Worlds of Power books where like people would base them off like Nintendo games? They were
No.
look that
Oh,
up because they did like one off Castlevania 2, and that was awful. They did Blaster Master, Metal Gear, Ninja Gaiden. Sometimes they had to do with the video games. Some of them, the Castlevania 2 one was just bad.
Was it like just a novel, or was it like a comic?
It was a novel. It was like, it didn't have pictures or, it's just a straightforward novel. But I remember that they had Simon Belmont like teamed up with some like kid from the time period, and all, he kept giving Simon life lessons about chocolate.
So, but
Captain
was it actually Nintendo that produced this, or was this more like somehow some people who wrote fan fiction were able to publish these things?
It sounds
It was
like
like
just marketers
published-
going, kids will play video games these days. Let's write a book for them because...
Yeah, It was published fan fiction
Like
under
the
a
action there.
pseudonym. And that's the best way to describe it. And yeah, it's like, of course, you bought them because I love Nintendo, and they
Right.
were sucked. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like, 'cause, yeah, like in the very back, I remember they had all the cartoon books as well, because I remember reading Garfield books back there too. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they had, didn't they? I mean, that's where they kept like the comic books, graphic novels,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
So-
I remember that Walden Books is where I got God Loves Men Kills. I got the
Mhm.
Dark Phoenix saga there. And then the very first comic that I remember buying from Walden Books was an issue where, surprise, surprise, Dazzler and the X-Men is big on the issue
on the cover, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
My
But I
first comic I remember buying from Walden Books was a Captain America supersized issue. I believe it was when he was fighting Ronald Reagan because Ronald Reagan was turning into a snake monster.
I hope he got better.
This was during the whole Johnny Walker took over because
Yeah.
Steve Rogers, didn't.
Yeah, because that doesn't sound like something you can clear up with ointment.
No.
Right, but can we confirm that is
Comics.
what is that?
Let's
I
look
mean, is
back
this
on
from
it.
your timeline?
No, that's actually, I believe that's across all timelines that Ronald Reagan
This from
turned
the
into a
crack
snake
timeline? Because
Okay.
creature. And Captain America had to go stop him because Diamondback was up to some nefarious plan.
Another place I remember once I would get done, it's kind of like I would have little stations that I would go through
You had your routine.
throughout the mall. I established a routine. So Corn Dog 7 was, of course, first. But then next was getting because I had already eaten. So now I need a little something, a dessert or whatever. So that's when I would go to the Peanut Shack or whatever it was, which was just a little bit to
Snack
the
Shack.
left of
Snack
where
Shack.
Bell's.
Yes,
Yep.
it was right next door.
Right. Yeah. And so I remember going there and perusing the area because they had salty snacks and they had sweet snacks and candies, and I think you could do the candies by the bag.
The bag of those sour
Yeah,
cherries.
sour cherries.
Oh
yeah.
God, I could go for
Me,
a
that's
bag of
me.
those right now.
It really
Yeah.
was a veritable shack of snacks.
It
Yes.
was.
It wasn't just
So
false
many
advertising.
things, and I
It
remember
wasn't like
cotton.
a
They had
straw
cotton candy.
tropical kind of theme.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It had.
faux bamboo.
They
Yeah,
had
the full
ices
bamboo
there. I
at the
remember
top,
that.
and then there was tons of stuff just hanging around, like food, snack product, just hanging around everywhere. It was
And I
awesome.
And I remember in that area, like directly across from like the side of Corn Dog 7, there was always some restaurant. But it like changed a lot. It was kind of a bless your
It
heart
did not.
restaurant.
It did not. Do
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, it never could
There was a
last.
snow cone place at one point, wasn't it?
Really? Maybe.
I remember it being a Mexican food place.
I don't remember that
It
at
might have
all.
started as a Mexican food, and then just nothing ever. It kept turning over, and then they eventually just stopped. I think, right?
Yeah, they gave
But
up.
what a weird. Yeah, I guess that little section was cursed because nothing. It was
Right.
nothing ever stayed.
Well, I mean, I obviously didn't pay attention to it because I don't remember any of this because it wasn't
the
the opposite of Corn Dog 7. So it meant absolutely nothing to me.
Oh well,
Yeah.
you're right. I remember briefly for like a week. It was a Mexican place.
Yeah, okay, see? There. Do you remember Revco Drugs just outside the entrance of the mall? It was like a CVS, Walgreens sort of thing.
Yeah, the main entrance. It was right there
Yeah,
to
it was
the right.
right there. It shared, I guess it shared
Oh,
the
it was on
wall
the
to
outside.
Corn Dog 7.
Yeah.
I guess the wall separated them and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was out. It had a door.
Yeah, it was outside of the mall. It had a door, and the only
Yeah.
thing I remember from that is they sold some of like these little Nintendo Qbert figurines, and then it's like when Atari went bust during the video game craze, like you could buy video games for $3 for Atari 2600, and on someone who was on a $3 budget, from their grandmother at that time, this was like the mecca of like childhood. Oh my God, I can get tennis or something from Activision. And yeah, so it was like amazing. I didn't even care if it was good. I could buy a game on my own.
I had
Right.
never went in there. I remember the store. I wish I had known
Yeah, I never went
Well,
in there
because
either.
I had I had a little black and white TV up on my dresser with my Atari plugged into it, and I sit there.
Yeah,
I
my
played the hell of Spider-Man and Superman and.
Yeah, my grandmother took me in there, off and on for whatever, and like like stores in the 80s. I mean, like even the most unassuming places had like really awesome toys. I mean, like you look at like Brookshire's and HEB back in the 80s.
Yeah,
Like,
Right.
the grocery
Mhm.
stores had great toy aisles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like name brand stuff, like you could find Transformers.
Oh yeah, Ghostbusters. I could
Yeah.
get like Ghostbusters slime from Brookshire's back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yep, Eckerd's, all the what CVS is now or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Eckerd's was
Yeah.
another one.
Eckerd's, man, they had a great little toy area.
Yeah.
Do they even
Um,
still have toy aisles in a grocery store?
Oh,
when
yes.
when I was in Corsicana last month at HEB, I curiosity compelled. I had when I was in HEB, I looked. It wasn't bad. I mean, all things considered, it wasn't bad. It's like they still had Star Wars and Transformers and Minecraft stuff, but I was like, okay, well, there's something still going on. Do you remember Contra in HEB? Silent Sentinel?
Contra?
They had the Contra arcade game. Like you'd go and play. Like my grandmother would go like buy groceries, and I'd be playing.
Yeah, I
Contra.
vaguely remember that.
I just remember playing the playground area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's right. They did have a playground area because that was another thing. Because it was like that's why the '80s were awesome, and no one gets that because I don't know. It's like that they just okay. It's like well, it's 2000s. We're gonna stop having fun at these standard stores.
Well, people
Right.
kept like I guess abducting us or something from those playgrounds or something.
Or people were just dumping
Getting
off their
hurt.
kids at HEB while they go.
Right.
Well, yeah,
Can't have these kids
like
here all day.
Disney World, man. But going back to the mall, let's see what else there was. There was various memories. I remember there was Regis because Bobby got blue hair there.
Yeah. Oh, that's where I would go to get my haircut every
Yeah, I
time.
got my haircut
Was
at
Regis. That's where
Uh,
that was the standard place.
It was one of the many places I went.
Oh yeah.
was the first-
I had to keep my
first place
mullet
I-
nice and tight.
Oh,
And they
very
did
nice.
good
It was the
work
first
there.
place I ever remember they had books that you could flip through of all these different kind of hairstyles and stuff.
Oh, I
I've
remember.
never seen anything like that before. Like, what is this? You can just sit there and pick out, kind of like what this looks like.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And of course, we had a little stationery card place, kind of like a Hallmark, called Summit Stationers, which I thought for the longest time was Carlton Cards, but everyone, or American Greetings, and everyone corrected me properly. One
Okay.
thing I
Are you
remember about
sure it wasn't? Or did
No,
it?
it was
It was never
Stationers.
America's. It was never American Greeting.
No, and like when someone told me it was Summit Stationers, it clicked, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, because I remember going there, and it's like stickers were also big in the '80s, and I remember. Do you remember those Mellow Smellos, like the ones that smelled like toothpaste and
Yes.
like they like smelled good too. They
Smelled
were
like turkey and tuna and
yeah, and pizza. I mean, these weren't cheap stickers, man. This was like the gourmet stuff that you kind of.
Oh, yes. Okay. You're talking about scratch and sniff
Yeah,
stickers.
Mellow-
Okay.
smell.
And there was another type too, and I found an illustration somewhere of it. But I remember that, and you get like the hologram stickers because, like, okay, do you remember Laser Blazers?
Mm-mm.
They were like hologram stickers, and they literally were like all this stuff. They had like Masters of the Universe and A-Team and Michael Jackson and
Okay,
like,
see, I remember those. I just didn't remember what they were called.
They were
But
called
yeah, I
laser-
remember they had the hollow.
They're
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was
puffy.
like the diamond rainbow shimmer.
yeah.
Were they puffy?
They did have some puffy stickers, but like I think
Most
the
were
laser
flat.
blazers were like that 80s hip thing that we loved. They were their own thing because there was puffy stickers, and then there were like glittery stickers, and then scratch and sniff, and it's like again, it's like stickers were a big deal in the 80s. Like people went nuts over stickers.
Right,
You can stick them on anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I
Challenge
back
accepted.
my door and got in so much trouble for that.
You got in trouble for what?
For sticking on the back of my door.
Oh.
I think everyone did that.
Yep.
Oh my god, my parents got so mad at me. I was like, it's not bothering you. It's only when my door closes. You're not behind it. I
We should all go out and get stickers right now.
Yeah.
Right, that was your door. So
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
So let's see what else there was. There was Spencer's, which I vaguely kind of remember, but it's one of those things you do and you don't, but you do at the same time.
I
And
did,
then there was
'cause
this
you
place
went in the
called
back.
Gadzooks.
Okay, Yeah, did we have a Spencer's or just Gadzooks?
Spencer's and a Gadzooks, and that was the thing because I was like,
simultaneously.
No.
people are saying yes, according to
I
my.
feel like they went to the same spot.
Kaleidoscope is what I remember.
No, it's Kaleidoscope. I'm sorry, it wasn't Gadzooks.
Yeah, it's
What was
Kaleidoscope.
It was Kaleidoscope. My bad.
It was across from Hastings.
And it was across from Hastings, which in the '90s became On Cue.
Right, that's what. Yeah, that was where I would always frequent a lot to just check out for the music stuff.
Oh yeah, gotta buy those cassette tapes.
I remember buying Bruce Willis CD, The Return of Bruno, for like $1 or something. It was in a clearance bin, but I had to check it out because
like
I
$1.
was like, "Why the hell does this exist?" And he does this weird cover of Under the Boardwalk.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was in 1989, or maybe not, or maybe it might have been later. I thought I bought my first De La Soul tape there. 3 Feet High and Rising. I think it was probably either Hastings or Camelot.
The first tape that I remember getting or buying or having bought for me, because apparently my parents wanted me to buy a tape. I was like, I don't like anything. So I finally ended up buying Human League.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember the first CD I ever got was Beaches soundtrack to the movie.
Under the Boardwalk.
Tying it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Bruce Willis version.
No, quite different.
The Bette Midler. Or
Yeah.
is she singing?
Yeah.
She sings it,
Yeah.
Yep.
I was a big soundtrack person though. I remember getting the Prince version of Batman and then Ghostbusters 2. And I think my first CD was D-Light, World Click.
Hmm.
I got to bring that funky sound, you know.
That's right.
That's how it works.
That's right.
Makes sense. That tracks.
Trying to remember.
J.C. Penney's was all the way at the back.
Yeah.
It's
It
the
was-
very end.
Because it was at the very end. You could enter it from the mall, but you could also enter it from the side, right?
Yeah.
It was like there was Walmart on one side and J.C. Penney's.
And J.C. Penney's on
Yeah.
the other. Yeah, they
And
kind
Bell's
of were
in
the
the-
anchors.
Yeah.
Of
The
it.
Bell's is where J.C. Penney's was now.
I do remember on the way, walking down that way across would be, there was this little store called Mr. J's, and I will admit that I bought at least one, possibly no, I
At
bought
least.
one rayon shirt and I bought 2 silk shirts from Mr. J's.
Silk shirts.
Yep,
Oh,
silk
I remember the silk shirt craze.
Yeah, they were
God,
long sleeve. It was blue, and then one was green here, and then the
I
other one
remember
looked
you in that
just
shirt.
like it. Yeah, it was maroon and blue sleeve.
Do you
And
remember
I had this too.
the ones where there would be like the sort of like rainbow colored, but it was all black? Like it was same sort of Z Cavaricci phase.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was all black, but the wording was all rainbow colored. And
Or may have
stuff.
been like
Whatever
red
the-
black for Jamaica version.
Yes.
Colors.
Okay.
But that was huge going too.
Yeah, Mr. J sold a lot of those there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thing. And then I remember later in the 90s, was it at the, because I know it's Hastings and it went to OnQ, didn't Lost Horizon Adventures take over that space, the game store? Was that there or was it, because I remember
See,
there
I
was,
thought it was a little bit closer up, closer
it was by
to,
JCPenney. It was by JCPenney because I worked there.
right?
I sold gift cards to kids.
What,
You sold
was it?
what?
Was it there? See, I thought it was
Magic
closer
card.
up to Regis.
Gathering. Yeah, because I remember
Maybe
like
it was there.
they sold video games and comics and magic cards and
I remember I got
Yeah,
my
a lot of
Mega Man
tabletop game stuff.
My Mega Man 7 for Super Nintendo from them. But I can't remember if it
Yeah.
was while they were in the mall or after they had moved on to 7th. I can't remember.
Because I remember, I got a lot of games from there because it was like, all right, I opened up the boxes, yeah. So like, no one could get them before me.
Right.
So I did get Super Return of the Jedi and Final Fantasy 3. So
Oh, nice.
and Donkey Kong Country, and like they sold Sega CD games as well. And I think I was like the only person in town who actually had a Sega CD.
You just got it for that CNC Music Factory game.
It'll make you sweat till you bleed. Of course I did.
Is that dope enough?
It's dope enough. It was either that or Marky Mark. So. Oh man, but yeah,
We need to really circle back to the video games, to the game Aladdin's Castle and Super Fun.
oh
and
yeah,
Yeah,
Talk about all the hours that we spent there, the countless quarters that we fed to the machines.
Oh yeah, we could do a whole show just the games we played and
Oh yeah,
everything
easily.
there. I mean,
easily. I mean, but Guy, you probably have some tokens still left. Because Aladdin's Castle tokens, I remember. This is you didn't put quarters into the
that's
machine.
right.
You put the dollars or whatever into a little thing, and it would spit out tokens for you. And the Aladdin Castle, I mean, they were gold, and it would say Aladdin's Castle on the one side, and then on the other side was like was it a little castle? Flag and stuff.
And I actually posted them on our Instagram. There was one that had like the genie lamp, and you flipped it over. It was the Aladdin's Castle logo.
I remember
and
that.
then the other where it was like Sultan, and then like they had like a kind of a Taj Mahal looking sort of place on the back. So they had two different varieties.
Right. Okay.
And every once in a while you get one. There's a concubine on one side, and then another concubine on the other side.
Oh.
What you talking about, John?
Okay. All right, New John. I don't remember that, but okay.
I do remember. I think the funniest memory I have was Paperboy, because the paper that the Paperboy threw out was the Daily Sun. So obviously it was like, oh my God, it's like they made it for us or something.
Right.
I was very easily entertained along with all my 700 Michaels.
So what happened at the mall? What was something that big that we kind of share a memory of?
I remember them doing a lot of those beauty pageants or fashion shows at College Park Mall, right there in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember.
They would set up the little stages and all that kind of stuff, and they would do all that kind of. But I didn't really pay much attention to it because it wasn't in.
It was just
my
going
bag.
on. You were at Corn Dog 7.
Yeah, it was just going on. Yeah, I could sit at Corn Dog 7 and watch it happen. It was fine.
I was in that mall so much. I don't have a distinct memory. That hallway is a distinct memory.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so spooky and gave it an adrenaline rush. You going through there. You weren't supposed to be there. I think I almost got stuck in there once.
Did you rip your pants in there once?
No.
Maybe that's why I was going through there.
So no one could see under the cover of darkness. I remember doing a choir show there. I think it was in elementary school, because I have some pictures somewhere, and I was wearing like this white shirt, and of course you had those bowl haircuts that all those unfortunate children had back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I remember someone telling me that Alan Jackson did a promo appearance there back like around 89 or something like that. I don't remember that, but I didn't listen to country music back then, so how that changes now.
Mall tours were big in the 80s.
Oh yeah, man.
Quite a few of those going through. We just don't really remember who it was.
Do you think they came through our malls and not just the ones up in Dallas?
I feel like
well, we were on their way to Houston. I'm sure they probably stopped in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Grab a corn
the
dog.
Jonas Brothers played
cheese on a stick
at one point in Corsicana, so yeah, it's completely plausible, I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. I know an interesting fact for both Navarro and College Park is they had a Kmart across the street from both of them at one point or another.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. There was. Yeah. They did. The Navarro Mall. I remember the regular Kmart. I did a lot of shopping there.
Yeah.
And I liked the little food snack center area that they had.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool. They had. That's the first time I ever had. I think they had Superman ice cream. At that place.
I remember. I remember both. Well, I mean, certainly Super Kmart, because we run over there and act like idiots all the time. And I do remember the old Kmart. And it's like I remember that stayed for a while until like I think the early mid '90s when they turned into Super K. And I think the original Kmart turned into like a church 4-wheel repair shop hybrid. Okay.
So like
it was Cornerstone Church with something on the side but now it's a indoor storage unit. I
mean, bravo for innovation, but man, that was an interesting combo for that one.
Well, also you could turn into the parking lot, drive through the parking lot, and get to the other street
Oh yeah, 'cause it saved
The
time.
Kmart parking lot before they, changed it up. I always loved that little shortcut.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was a great shortcut.
I remember like as the 2000s went on, and of course all the stores started going out of College Park Mall. I remember they blocked off like one half of the mall, like the point where like Zales and Gordon's, because I think they were there still for a few more minutes. Like Walden Books folded when Super Kmart came in, and I remember like it was like half a mall at that point. I think Walmart was still there for a while until they opened up Mega Uber Walmart, the one that's present today.
Yeah.
And I remember for the longest time, it's like there's some pictures cycling right now. I think the pictures that I took are from 2009, so the mall still had a little something left in it. But yeah, as time went on, that mall just kind of like they closed that whole area off, and then obviously to present day where they've started building stores on the outside of the mall, which is really weird for me. I mean,
they closed all the inside access to it.
They did. It's there's not much in there these days. Leaves, but
it's still there, right? It's the shell of the mall. All of that space is still there.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
All the interior. Yeah.
Feasibly, if they ever put stores back in there, I mean, I couldn't see why they couldn't use it as a standard original intent mall, but it kind of surprises me that Corsicana really doesn't have a mall culture. I mean, I get that the mall itself is kind of a dying trend from modern times, but it seems like a small town, should be able to sustain a type of business like that.
Oh, sure. I mean, here in Frisco, I mean, we're bursting at the seams. We've got about 176,000 people now, but we also have a mall that is considerable in size to compensate for that large of a population. And Stonebriar Mall is thriving. I mean, there's not stores closing, there are stores opening in this mall.
Yeah.
They keep trying to figure out ways to, I mean, they've gotten rid of certain things, like I don't think they have the ice rink anymore and that kind of stuff. So they got rid of the kids' playpen area and stuff. Because they're having to just find ways to build because there's a whole lot of commerce going on there. And so, seeing as on a scale, all about scaling, I'm very surprised Corsicana hasn't been able to, find a way and find the right companies to come in, the stores to have something that sustains on that kind of population level.
Yeah.
I know I've seen like plans for the Super K building at one point. There's supposed to become an outlet mall. It looks like that's kind of what they're trying to do a bit with the old College Park Mall, having everything on the outside like that, like an outlet type center. But it's maybe they're pricing the rental spaces out too high.
Which I would guess so, but that doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're not generating revenue, it just doesn't seem like it would be the best choice. But, again, it's like I feel like a lot of people really didn't get a chance to see the mall like what we're describing as, a music store, a toy store, an arcade, which, again, arcades are, again, a product of their own time, but a bookstore. Several clothing stores as opposed to just one or two.
There are jewelers. You get your hair cut while you're there. Grab some food. I mean, you go in there. You could, and we all have, spend the day.
Yeah, you spend the entire day there.
Yeah.
Be a mall rat. Yes.
Also, you have to remember that this was in the 80s when mall culture was at its height. And you could sustain yourself, even in a small town with a small mall as it is.
Yeah.
And, as the town grew up, as the, days, the years went by, that kind of, I feel like that kind of culture, at least in the small town, has just dissipated. I feel like either they're were not being met by College Park Mall and they were just like, I'm just going to go to Dallas and get what I want. And then, the mall just kind of suffered. But for us, like growing up in the 80s and with all of this that was happening, the mall really holds like a special place, you know.
Oh,
Running
yeah.
a ramp by Walden Books and going to the arcade and then going to, you know, get listen to CDs or whatever.
Yeah, because they had the listening stations and everything.
Yeah, you
there.
can put
Oh,
the
yeah.
CD in and listen to it before you
had
buy
that
it.
kind of specialness to it.
Mhm.
And I remember, you know, it had probably been a good 3 or so years since I moved up to New York that I'd been back to Corsicana, and I brought John down, and I said, "Oh, you know what? We're gonna have to go to the mall." And he actually worked in a mall at one point, and he was in a clothing store and a manager of it. So he's had big mall New York, New Jersey
I
experience.
thought you were about to say he was a mannequin in it. The manager. that
You
makes-
think nothing's going to stop us now?
And so I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to go to the mall." And so I brought him into the mall, and you know, at this point it was 2003, 4-ish. So the mall was in real bad decline. I don't even think there was a Corn Dog 7 at that point. And I was probably really disappointed. And I go in, we walk towards one way, and I think at that point Walmart was on its way out or was already gone.
Yeah.
So that was gone. Walden Books was already gone. And we walked down the other aisle and went to J.C. Penney's, and I was like, "There's the mall." He goes, "What?
Yep.
That's it?" He was so mad that that's all it was. I was like, you know what? For small town Corsicana, that's really what we needed and what we were able to, you know, sustain. And
Yeah.
but I have very fond memories of a lot of, you know, College Park Mall.
So maybe we can get enough Patreon supporters to where we can buy the mall
Right.
and turn it into...
And then start bringing in, right, we could bring a Barnes & Noble in
We'll
and,
recreate
and
the
some real-
heyday
yep,
Of the mall.
of the mall.
Hashtag bring back Corn Dog 7.
yes.
Oh my God, Danny! You remember when you took me to Corn Dog 7, the last one that was like up that north
Sherman,
south?
Texas. Yep.
Yeah.
The only one that I know that, and I think it may still exist. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it was in a mall, and it was about, you know, it was a little bit larger
Yeah.
than Corsicana's mall. But yep, up in Sherman, Texas, I took you. I was like, dude, I found there's still you can still get cheese on a stick.
That was the best.
Yep.
We gotta
Yeah.
find that out. I might have to road trip here.
Yeah.
Y'all see, I mean, I've got the recipe now. I can make them. And last time B was in town, I made some homemade cheese on a stick.
Nice. Might have to share that recipe.
Yep. Yeah,
That could be a
definitely.
thing.
I'll put it together and share it with everybody. Teach you all my tricks.
Yeah. But it was weird in the sense of like just going back last month and going to like Navarro Center now. Yeah, it's because it's like they still have that fountain there and it doesn't look like it does anything anymore. And it's just weird.
Oh,
It's this big empty space that like was the thing I walked around. I was like, yep, okay. And I don't know. It's like they could do a reboot of Chopping Mall there. Interesting side fact. They shot an episode or two of a Corsicana series called Battle State there. So you can see their space station as the mall when it's still. I'm not sure if it had the hay or the day, but at least it was halfway there of having some sort of existence.
I think Alan Barnes was in a scene there around the fountain that was shot in the mall, and Alan Barnes would be a bit of a radio personality around the parts.
Right.
And an actor and stuff. So.
Well, I definitely am on board for a Total Geek live production of a reboot of Chopping Mall, and we use that. We may even do a combination. We use both College Park Mall and Navarro
Oh, that's
Mall
what you do. You
Center.
edit it together
you know?
to make it look like one giant location.
One big giant mall. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So you guys out there, if you're watching this and you want a reboot of Chopping Mall to happen, then help us support that, and maybe we'll do a Kickstarter or something with that.
We'll have to get the rights or change the name or something. Inspired by a movie we once saw in our youth.
Right.
Inspired by the literary classic Choppington P. Mall.
Well, we could do maybe we can, if we can't afford the license to the movie, maybe we can afford the license to the soundtrack of it and do a movie inspired by the music of Chopping Mall.
There we go. There we go.
Inspired by the Philharmonic Orchestra doing a symphonic rendition of Shopping Mall,
In E minor.
the timeless classic. I gotta go watch Shopping Mall now.
I kind of need to go sit down and watch that too.
That might be a review.
I think we're really grateful and lucky to all the people who have given us information and talked about what stores were there and given us all sorts of background on College Park Mall and Navarro Mall that we were able to use in this show. So we want to say, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that information.
Really appreciate it.
Very helpful.
Definitely stick around for the end of the credits.
Right, and then
really, I remember everything wrong, so I would have been a horrible.
You're from a different timeline. New John.
But like I had said before, we're really trying to recapture, Corsicana history and give us, the geeky side of that, and we're really appreciative of all your support and help. So thanks a lot. Keep listening, keep watching, and we'll see you soon again.
And as always, it's all geek to us.
Us.
That's right.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Let's go to the mall.
Let's all go to the mall and get ourselves a snack at Corn Dog 7, yeah. At Corn Dog 7, yeah.
Let's go to the mall, everybody! Come on, Jessica. Come on, Tori. Let's go to the mall. You won't be sorry. Put on your jelly bracelets and your cool graffiti coat. At the mall, having fun is what it's all about. I haven't done my homework yet. That's okay. And you know how my parents get. Whatever. I don't care, 'cause all my friends are gonna be there. Everybody come and play. Throw every last care away. Let's go to the mall today. Clear mouse, I love it. There's this boy I like. Met him at the food court. He's got hair like Gretzky and he does jumps on his skateboard. I hope he asks me out. Take me to my favorite spot. It'll be just him and me. Dad says, I'm too young to date.